Thank you all so much for joining me today. We're going to go ahead and get started. So welcome to the Yoga Ed RCYT certificate program with a trauma-informed focus. This is an online training that is 95 hours. My name is Kathleen. I'm the program manager here at Yoga Ed, and today we also have Akiko. We're going to start off the orientation with some time in. So in Yoga Ed, time in is what we like to share with our students as a way to start to come into the yoga practice, but also something that we embody ourselves. And so with our time in, we start to come into how we're feeling in that moment. We let go of what's happened before we started our yoga practice and let go of any thoughts about what's to come next after the yoga practice is over. And we really start to move into our body and our breath work. And so I'm going to have you all join me in some time in today. So start to find that comfortable seat in your chair. Maybe grounding down through your bottom. You can move left and right. Maybe finding the feet flat on the floor if you're seated in a chair. And start to bring your hands now onto your legs, feeling those feet ground down into the floor. We'll move our hands onto our shoulders, letting those shoulders scrunch up to the ears, and then roll down the back, relaxing those shoulders away from the ears, feeling nice and tall in the spine. Finally moving those hands up to the top of the head. Noticing the position of the head, maybe letting it rock side to side, maybe forwards and backwards, and then coming to that comfortable position with the head and the neck. We'll start to release our arms down by our sides and move into our flower breath. So for flower breath, we'll start to bring the hands in front of us, come together, letting those wrist bones touch. And start to bring the pinky finger to touch, and then the thumbs to touch. So just like in the picture on the screen, we're creating that bowl shape using our hands, imagining this is the beautiful bloom of your favorite flower right in front of you. And when you take your next inhale, you're going to breathe in that sweet smell from the flower, inhaling through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. We'll inhale in the flower again. Exhale, sigh it out. And then one more time, inhale, breathing in through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out. Letting those hands relax back down when you're ready. Thank you so much. So for today, we're going to be talking about how the RCYT program works. We'll review the course requirements. We'll talk about the important schedules and deadlines. You'll get to meet your course instructors. We'll go over how to access coursework. And we'll talk about Zoom and Flipgrid, which are two of the platforms we use for learning. We'll cover what the practicum consists of, who your point of contacts are, and then finally open it up for questions. So we do ask that you stay muted while we go through this presentation. And if you have questions along the way, maybe jot those down or type those up. And then hopefully by the end of the presentation, we've answered your questions. But if not, we'll open it up for questions from everyone. So how the RCYT program works. There are three main components. The first are the three online courses. So teaching children's yoga, teaching teens yoga, and trauma-informed yoga for youth. There's also 18 hours worth of practicum. And 3 of those hours are where you'll be practice teaching. You'll record a video of yourself teaching. And those will be the 3 projects for each of the 3 courses. So at the end of the course, you'll complete a final project of you practice teaching, which will account for 3 hours of teaching. The practicum also consists of 15 hours of observation. So you'll watch classes, there'll be online videos of classes recorded, and you'll complete an observation form for each of those 15 classes. So that is what the 18 hours of practicum are. And then the final step is getting your 95-hour certificate once you've completed the online courses and the 18 hours of practicum. And if you're continuing on to register through the Yoga Alliance as RCYT, that 95-hour certificate is the one that you will upload. So you all are on the standard track. It's very wonderful to be here with you all today because I am also on the standard track. I started back in June, and so I'm finishing up my teens course now, and next week starting with the trauma-informed course. And so what that means for us is that we take the courses one at a time or consecutively. So your track runs from October 1st through April 7th of next year. So now we'll talk about our course requirements. So this is a long list of things that we do require in order to receive certificates of completion for each course and for the entire program. And the reason that we have such a long list of requirements is really to make sure that you are comfortable teaching, you feel confident, and you're able to safely teach to children and teens. And so this helps us not only to be a registered school with Yoga Alliance, but to help you be a better yoga teacher for children and teens. So the first of the requirements is the videos. You'll watch all of the videos in your online coursework, which is academy.yogaed.com. You'll also complete all of the quizzes in your academy. Homework assignments, you'll have to turn in all homework assignments, which are available to download from your academy. And then you'll attend all of the live meetups. These are 1-hour meetups that happen in Zoom every week. And if you're unable to make a live meetup, you always have the option to watch the recording of the meetup and then come feedback. This is to make sure that we're bringing the interactive components of this training to life. And then finally, the final teaching project is the last course requirement. And that is in your academy as well, and you'll learn more about that on your course. So here's the schedule at a glance. So these are the dates that each course runs. Note that each course is 8 weeks long, which means you have 8 live meetups for each course. For teaching children's yoga, the course dates are October 1st through November 25th. For teaching teens yoga, the course dates are December 3rd through January 27th of 2021. And then for trauma-informed yoga for youth, the course dates are February 11th through April 7th. So some important time frames for teaching children's yoga, which runs October 1st to November 25th. On Fridays, you can expect your weekly coursework email to come to you. This will include links to the coursework in Academy, and it will be sent at 9 a.m. Pacific or noon Eastern. This week, that email was actually sent to you yesterday in order to make sure you had the information you needed to be on today's orientation. On Mondays, so starting this coming Monday, you will have your first Teaching Children's live meetup. It will be at 3:30 Pacific or 6:30 Eastern. The following day, Tuesday at 9 a.m. or noon, you'll receive a recap of the children's live meetup, so the recording in case you weren't able to make it, and also the makeup assignment and Flipgrid. So this will be the cadence every week that you're in teaching children's yoga, so 8 weeks. Then leading up into teaching teens yoga, so December 3rd through January 27th. On Fridays, you'll receive your course email, linking you up to the teens course content online. On Tuesdays, you'll have your live meetups at 3:30 or 6:30. And the following day, Wednesday at 9 a.m. or noon, you will receive your recap with the recording link and the makeup assignment in Flipgrid. And then beginning February 11th through April 7th, when you're in the Trauma-Informed Yoga for Youth course, on Fridays, you'll receive your weekly coursework. On Wednesdays, you'll have your live meetups, 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern. And the following day, Thursday at 9 a.m. or noon, you'll receive your recording recap along with the makeup assignment in Flipgrid. Important deadlines. So I would say these are important to write down, but we also have these available to you in the online academy. And these are the due dates for submitting all of your course requirements for each course. So we do ask that you complete your coursework within the timeframes of those courses and not wait until April 21st to submit assignments for other courses. So for teaching children's yoga, we want all of the coursework submitted by December 9th. For teaching teens yoga, we want all of the coursework submitted by February 10th. And then for trauma-informed yoga, all coursework submitted by April 21st. So who are your course instructors? For teaching children's yoga, the lead instructor is Harmony Tesoro, and her teaching assistant is Lisa Malinowski. For teaching teens yoga, the lead instructor is Jason Batung, and Lisa is also his teaching assistant. And then for trauma-informed youth, the lead instructor is Megan McWilliams, and Lisa is also the teaching assistant. So now we're going to talk about accessing the online coursework that's available at academy.yogaed.com. So here is a screen of what it looks like. We're going to explore this, but I did just want to point out that this screen shows everything at 0%, which is what it will look like when you first log in. You'll have all your courses listed here, and they'll show 0%. I'm going to show you my academy as an example, and just know that because I'm in the standard track a little bit further ahead of you all, some of the coursework is already going to be showing as complete. So here I am logged into my courses. And as I mentioned, some of these have 100% completion already. But when I click on a course, it's going to open up the coursework. And we're going to start with the RCYT certificate program. So when I open that up, I have a list of lectures here. Mine are all checked off, but yours will be unchecked when you first log in. And so you'll have the option to click on an item and it'll open up that item. You'll notice the menu then moves over to the left side for you to jump between items. And this first one is just welcoming you to the RCYT certificate program here. This is our RCYT syllabus. So we do recommend you go in and download any of the files that you see listed in your online coursework. Step one is just talking about emails. So because I've mentioned so many emails that we're sending to you that are important, we do ask that you add courses@yogaed.com to your safe senders or contact list. And that's just going to make sure our messages don't go to spam, or if you use Gmail, the promotions tab, and that you're able to find those emails quickly. This is that important document with the due dates. So if you come to step 2 in your RCYT program, and then you all will look for the RCYT standard checklist. Since you're on the standard track, you'll want to download a copy of this. This is going to have all the courses laid out with the due dates for all of course requirements. So that'll be a nice one to have. Again, these are going to list more of the requirements and about the different types of coursework. Step 4 is a quick overview of the practicum. And then step 5 links you up with some registration requirements for RCYT with Yoga Alliance. So from here, I have the option to go back if I hit my little arrow at the top on the left. And you can see I'm back in the main course with all the items listed, so I'll hit back again, and that's going to take me back to all of my courses. So the next thing I'm going to show you, I'm probably going to we'll go to children because that's where you all will start. And again, just ignore the 100%. I'm such a good student. So what you'll see here is the week by week layout of all your coursework. So one thing I found really helpful for me is this Start Next Lecture button. I can't click it because everything's already completed, but if you were in your coursework now and you hit Start Next Lecture and you hadn't started anything yet, it would jump to this first one, hello. what that's going to help you with is we get into week 7 and 8, where you have to scroll all the way down to find the next item. You can simply use this button at the top. It goes right to the next item that you need to complete. It's like a nice shortcut for you. So if you're not using that button, you're always welcome just to click on the item. And if you haven't seen this yet, this is welcoming you to the children's course. You can play the video here. And then there may be some notes listed at the bottom here. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of week 1. Typically at the bottom of every week, you'll find some downloads or some homework assignments. So the first one I want to point out, at the bottom of week 1 for every single course, you will have the curriculum for that course. So for children's, for teens, for trauma, they all have their own unique curriculum. And so it's split up into 2 parts. We have the teacher's guide, and then we have what we call the student's guide. So for children, it's labeled children, for teens, labeled teens. So you'll want to make sure to download both of these guides, as they are containing different content that will help you throughout the course. Under the curriculum, you'll find download sample lesson plans. So here in children's, we have them broken out by age. So pre-K to K, grades 1 to 3, and then grades 4 to 5. And so these are some sample lesson plans that Bryn, our CEO, has put together for everyone to use. I think there's like 72 or more lesson plans just in children's alone for you all to take with you. And these are going to help you as you start to teach for your first time to children or to teens. It's going to give you kind of a guide for setting up the class and how you would plan it out. So these are great tools to have. In addition, there are lesson plan templates. So exactly as these lesson plans are laid out, there are blank copies for you to create your own lesson plans. And so those are listed here in the lesson plan template. And then finally, at the bottom of every week, there will be a homework assignment. And so I'll point out some weeks don't have homework assignments, but the ones that do will have homework listed. And when you click on it, you'll see your prompt. And then you'll have the option to download the homework assignment. So you'll download that, you'll complete your homework assignment, and then you'll send that to your instructor. Another thing I'm going to point out is that my 100% completion is because I have marked the items off as I go. So what I mean by that is after I watch a video, I hit this bar at the top that says complete and continue. If I just keep clicking to the next lesson over here on the left, it's not going to check off the item as complete. I have to actually click the bar that says complete and continue. So you'll want to make sure to do that so that your progress tracking over here is accurate. Okay, so I'm just going to back to my courses screen. And then the next topic to cover is Zoom. So you all made it here today onto Zoom. And I'm not going to do a long tutorial on Zoom, but I will just point out that your link for each course is the same for the entire course, for the entire 8 weeks. So for children's that starts next week, if you want to save that Zoom link and maybe create a calendar event for it, make it reoccurring every Monday, that will make sure that you have the Zoom link available when you need it and you're not hunting for that email with the link in it. So that's just one recommendation we have. Now, when you switch over to Teams, your link will be a new link, but it'll be the same link for the next 8 weeks. So if you're not able to make the Zoom, you have the option to watch the Zoom recording and then complete the Flipgrid assignment. So some of you may have used Flipgrid already if you're an educator or someone who uses that kind of technology, but I am going to show you how it works. So you'll go to flipgrid.com. It'll pull up this page here, and there will be 2 important pieces of information you have to enter. And these will be included in your course emails, and we'll also share them with you today. The first is going to be your flip code. So for this group, it's going to be YERCYTC8S. And again, we'll show you that again later today, and it will be on your course emails. So you'll type in your flip code, you'll hit the arrow or the enter key on your keyboard, and then it's going to ask for your student ID. So your student ID is going to be the name you provided upon registration without any spaces in between. So we'll show you some examples in a minute, but you'll put your student ID in and you'll sign in here. And so you can see it's brought me into week 1 for teaching children's. It's going to list the prompts here to complete if you weren't able to attend the Zoom. And you'll be able to record a response here. So if I click record a response, it'll pop up with the camera. I'll hit the record button, and then I'll record myself answering the questions or demonstrating whatever the prompt tells me to do. Once I stop recording, I'll have the option to edit the video. You can add emojis, you can add fun stickers to your video, and then you'll have the option to send or submit your video. So know that once you hit the submit button, it does go to the instructors. They'll have that Flipgrid, but it will disappear from your view, and there's also no confirmation on Flipgrid. So I know it's a little concerning to know that your assignment made it, but we typically allow the instructors 7 days to review the video and send feedback. So just trust that the Flipgrid works and sends correctly, and we'll be reaching out to you if it didn't happen to go through, and we'll work with you on that. So that is Flipgrid. To jump around to the different weeks, you'll be able to click these 3 bars here to go to new topics, and you'll see all of the children's week 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up through 8 are listed on top. And then underneath that will be teens. So things will be in order of how you're taking the courses. Okay, so again, here are the information you'll need to put into Flipgrid. We will provide you a link in your course emails to access Flipgrid. We will also include the flip code and your student ID in your course emails, so you will always have that when you need it. But again, if your name was Jane Smith, all lowercase, no spaces, Jane Smith would be your username. Okay, now we're going to talk about the practicum. So the practicum is what comes after all of the courses are completed. The first 3 hours of practicum actually get completed as your final project. So at the end of the children's course for your final project, you'll be recording yourself doing your practice teach, and then you'll take your teens course. You'll do the same thing at the end of the teens course. And so all 3 of those videos count as 3 hours of practice teaching. The videos themselves do not have to be an hour long, don't worry. They are within 20 to 25 minutes in length is what we ask for. And because of all the work that you put into planning and recording your practice teach, it counts as 3 hours worth of credit for practice teach. So the other part of the 18 hours comes from class observations. So these are videos you'll watch online. And as you're watching, you're going to complete feedback forms, and there'll be 15 different videos and forms that you complete. And the 15 hours of class observation, we ask that you wait until you've completed all 3 courses and received certificates for each course before you start doing those observations. The reason being is that practicum is supposed to be that practical experience of putting your education and your knowledge to work. And we want to make sure you've had time to complete the courses in an entirety. And also it's something that Yoga Alliance asks us for when we set up our RCYT program, to be compliant with what we need to do as a RCYS, a school for teaching children's yoga. We have to make sure that all the course is complete and the practicum comes after the coursework. So that's our only ask with the practicum. Feel free to explore the practicum experience in your academy. Go ahead and start reading up on what the requirements are, but please don't start those observation forms until you've received certificates for the 3 courses. From that point, once you have your certificates that we send to you, we'll also let you know that you're ready to start practicum. and we'll give you a deadline, which will be 3 months from that date. So you'll have plenty of time to get it done. Okay, point of contact. So our names are listed there on the screen, Kathleen and Akiko, and we are available by email. If you reach out to courses@yogaed.com, Akiko and I will see your emails and we'll help you with whatever you need. And then also by phone. So we can be reached at 310-471-1742. Typically, we're available to help with any administration of the program, anything you need as far as course dates, maybe reaching out if you need help with technical support. That would typically be why you would contact courses. And homework assignments get sent to your instructor. So I mentioned that you send those homework assignments to the instructor. You'll actually just email it directly to them as an attachment. And so for teaching children's yoga, that's Harmony. For teaching teens, it's Jason. And then for trauma-informed, it's Megan. The nice thing about the email is it's just their first name at yogaed.com. It's also going to be on your course email. So when you get your weekly email on Fridays, it's going to come from Harmony, from Jason, or from Megan. So you'll always have that option to reply to those emails if you need to talk to your instructor. In addition to reaching out to the instructor to turn in that homework, I would also recommend any content questions. So if you have questions about the course content or something that was discussed in a live meetup or a resource that was shared, I would definitely recommend reaching out to the instructors at these email addresses here. And if you need more help on the administration side or tech support, that would be when you could contact Akiko and I at Courses. All right, so I've shared a lot of information. Thank you all for patiently waiting and listening. I want to open it up now for questions. So if you'd like to wave your hand, use the raised hand feature, or even type in the chat if you're more comfortable doing that. Anybody have questions? Yes, is it Yanni? You can unmute yourself.
Yes, hi, how are you? The question I have is, the 200-hour requirement. Can you hear me okay?
Sorry, Yanni, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me? No?
Now I can hear you a little better.
Okay.
Quiet.
So, yeah. The 200 hours that is required by the Alliance, can that be taken at the same time as this program?
So they can be taken in any order. I don't think there's any rule about taking them at the same time that I know of. Kiko, if you know of anything, but I know that they could be taken one after the other, any order. So I don't think it matters.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Jen said, should we have any coursework done? Oh, great question. So coursework for week 1, you'll go into week 1, you'll talk about the week 1 content with your instructor. The instructor will also introduce the homework assignment and give you the opportunity to ask any questions. Typically, homework is due the following week. So while it's great if you have time to explore the homework and the online content, you really won't have to submit anything until the week after. And each instructor provides a little bit different deadlines. So I'm going to let them introduce those deadlines to you the first week. Good question. Okay, no worries, Jen. Anybody else have a question? Does the teacher confirm it that they received the homework assignment? That's a great question. Akiko, I don't know that they're sending like a receipt of homework email, but they typically get back to you within 7 days to provide feedback. So if you didn't get that feedback in 7 days, I think it would be appropriate to reply again and make sure that they've received the homework. All right, anybody else have questions?
So we can start going through our things, but really we start with our teacher next week, and we can start going through the videos and everything, but they're going to explain our homework and everything when we meet with them, and then it'll be the next week, really, or whenever they tell us the due date.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so typically a week from your class. I know some people just like to get super ahead, but sometimes if you misunderstand a homework assignment and then they talk about it in class, you might have to go back and redo parts of it. So I do think that's one benefit to waiting to start until you've had the class.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. I'm catching up in the chat. So Stephanie, regarding Flipgrid, is it possible to accidentally submit a video to the wrong week of content? Probably is very much possible. I imagine they would recognize that you're answering the wrong prompts. Yeah, and hopefully they could sort out, contact you and sort out which week you meant to be submitting to make sure you get the right credit. But if the prompts are there on the screen and you hit the record button, you should be in the right week, I would hope. But I guess if you're in that long listing of all the weeks that could happen. Yep, so that's a good question. Jen, do we need to have the children's guide printed? That's a good question. I've heard people say that they are printing the guides out, and I personally couldn't do that, but I know for some people it works to be able to highlight or make notes. So that's kind of up to you as a student. I prefer digital because I like to use the search options where I can search through the text and jump to where I need to find information. But if you prefer that hard copy, you're more than welcome to print out your manuals. Just know that there's 6 total, so that gets to be quite a lot of printing. Okay, any other questions?
Can I have a question?
Sure.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you, Melinda.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, so for getting ready for Monday, or we just need a notebook, or we should prep a space with our yoga mat, like, because I read what we need to have, and I'm like, okay, what space should I choose for this? Or is it lit up, or is it like a darker place, like,
That's a great question. So we do try to include what you need for class each week in the weekly email. So on Friday, you would see what you would need for your Monday class, or Tuesday when you're in teens, and so on. The whole class won't be a lot of movement, and we do have some students who aren't able to participate in the movement portion of class. Maybe they're caring for a baby, maybe they're helping cook dinner for their family. So we totally understand that if you're not able to participate in the movement portion. But typically having a little bit of open space where you could stand up if there's yoga movement or breathing that would require that. But again, it's really about what works for you, and we want to be understanding of people's situations, their times of day, that they have other things going on. So I don't know if I helped answer the question or not, but a yoga mat can be helpful. A little bit of extra space where you could step away from a chair onto the mat would be helpful, but it's not a requirement.
Okay. So yeah, since you're doing the course, you're just suggesting like you just have like a notebook with you and just take notes the whole time, or?
Notes, you can do notes. I like to type my notes. So I may even just pull up a notepad or Word document if I want to take any notes, and that way they're right there on my computer. That would be a good idea.
Okay.
Sure. I think it also recommends having certain worksheets or curriculum available. So if you want to just have them open on your computer, that way you could flip to them and look at them as you're going over the content. That would also be helpful.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Yes.
Hi. I just wanted to know if we're all going to be in the same class together, or if
Great.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a great question. I'm so glad you asked that, because everyone gets confused about who's in the course and who they will see again. So you guys are going to be together from now until April. you all will be on all 3 courses together, unless any of you have taken one of the courses or something already and you're jumping in. But you guys will be together. You'll also be with students who are taking all 3 courses at the same time. So for example, we have an October group for RCYT that is starting at the same time as you, but they're going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday taking all 3 courses, and they'll finish up the same time that you finish up children. So they're on that accelerated track. So just know that every course you go through, you'll also have those people who are doing accelerated. And then in addition, there will be people who are just taking one course. They've chosen to take children's, or they've chosen to take teens, and they'll be in your live meetups with you as well. So you'll have quite a variety of students joining you.
I just had a question in the chat. I didn't know if it would be okay. Like, I've done some things like this before. If we gave each other phone numbers, and if anybody wanted to get in like group messages, just to be like, hey, did anybody understand this? You know what I mean? Is that okay if we do that in the chat, and we can like kind of just get each other's numbers?
Yeah, or is there like a,
So
like private, like in our yoga teacher training, we had like a private group on Facebook that for all the participants, for students only. So that way, if, you know, we want to help each other in certain areas, we could do that. And then we didn't bother the teachers that way, just with stuff that was relevant to them, right? Do you have anything like that?
Yes, great question. So we do. And first, I'm just going to say, yes, you're welcome to share your email or your phone numbers when you're on Zoom, or if you're in a breakout room. You're welcome to directly chat with one person if you wanted just to send that one person in Zoom. But we also have Becca here today. And Becca, I assume you don't mind talking a little bit about our Facebook community.
Sure. Thank you, Kathleen. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we have a Facebook group called the Yoga Ed Community, and I can put the link here in the chat in just a moment as well. And the group includes graduates from all of our different courses, but it's a really great place that everyone can join and connect. And I moderate the group, so if you ever have questions, you're welcome to reach out to me directly in there. And it's checked regularly, so that's another option if you're interested in joining.
Thanks, Becca. All right, I think, Christina, I'm sorry I missed your question initially, but Christina had asked in the chat how much time is needed for each meetup. So the meetups are an hour. And so we do ask that in order to get attendance credit, that you are there for the majority of that live meetup. Otherwise, if you were only there, let's say 20 minutes in the live meetup, you would have to complete a Flipgrid to make up for that missed class. So do try to be present and participate in your live meetups as much as possible, or do a Flipgrid if you can attend. Is it Pooja?
Yeah, hi. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Question. I teach yoga class on Mondays, 5:30 to 6:30. So like I will be done by that time. So is it okay if I'm 5 minutes late or so?
Absolutely. I think that,
like,
I think that's a perfect. That'll be no problem. It might also be a good idea just to let your instructor know in case there is a day where you're, 15 minutes late because of the class. Just let them know of that prior commitment, and I'm sure it'll work out fine.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and Becca has put the Facebook link in the chat if anybody wants to go ahead and join that. And I see a few of you are sharing your emails and your phone numbers, so make sure to copy those if you'd like to reach out to each other. All right, does anyone else have anything? I'm not seeing any hands. Thank you, Stephanie. All right. Well, again, we're really excited to have you guys join this program. Akiko and I are available if you need any support. Again, we're at courses@yogaed.com. And we're really looking forward to seeing you guys next week for your children's course. So hope you have a great weekend. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.